Alright, so it has been a little over a week, and before I upload the video, I wanted to give you a short update on the KLIM Nomad portable CD player. So let's start with the pros. This player does have decent sound quality. The EQs are pretty good. They're not the best, but you get a decent sound. And usually I listen with either these headphones or these headphones. And so far, I've only used my Koss Porta headphones and also my Soul Republic headphones. They both sound good, but these have a brighter sound and not as much bass as the Soul Republics. But they still both sound pretty good. And the remotes that are included with the headphones work as well, partially. This has a pause button where you can pause your music. I tried the volume buttons, but the volume buttons do not work. And even on this one, the volume adjuster that's on here works, as well as the pause button. So the circuitry is probably somewhat similar for the headphones and the CD player. But if I had to choose between headphones, I would probably choose these because these have a better sound, I think, to me, for this particular unit. And the EQs that are on here, I find myself gravitating more towards the pop EQ setting with this. To me, it has somewhat of a richer sound, but it often depends on the genre of music or the CD that you're listening to at the time. So I go back and forth with the EQs. And these have more bass, so usually I do not use the bass boost setting when I'm while listening through the Soul Republic headphones. But with these, I usually use the bass boost setting, which isn't extreme. I'm wearing a hat because it's been cold lately, so these work out better while wearing a hat with my type of hair. Also, cosmetically, I like the 90s aesthetic that the CD player has with the black and white. A lot of CD players during the 90s and even the 80s had the black and white aesthetic. And I believe it was around the late 90s when they started introducing other colors other than black and white. But I like that about this one. You have black and white, which is kind of retro now. But also keep in mind that KLIM also has different colors for this particular unit, as well as the Discovery, and I think some of their other units as well. There is a wood variant, a translucent color, and a blue color that it has. I felt like those kind of looked like toys, and I wanted something that looked a little more grown up, so that was one of my reasons for choosing this color. Plus, once again, the retro feel that it gives me. It takes me back to, a time when I was growing up during the 90s. I love the CD window. I like being able to see my music play while I'm listening to it. To have that option, it gives more life to the music, and I enjoy it more and I feel more connected with it. But oftentimes, I'm on a walk and I have it in my fanny pack, so I cannot see the CD player at all. Or I usually listen to it before going to bed at night. So it's dark and I have the CD player under the covers so I cannot see the CD spin. But something you may already know, with the newer CD players, with the memory that they have, the CD is not continuously spinning. So after a while, the CD will stop spinning. So if you choose to purchase a Discovery, which has a larger CD window, the strobe effect that it gives off with the CD constantly spinning, after a while, your CD is going to stop spinning because of the memory feature. So that's just something to keep in mind also. But I think this gives enough exposure to the CD spinning while you're listening to it and not being distracted by the CD spinning, which might interfere with the listening experience. And I love the dual headphone jacks that this unit has. I have not used the second headphone jack, but if you have someone who wants to listen along with you, you have that option. And also, it doubles as an antenna, which is nice too for the radio. I did try out the radio. It was okay, it wasn't bad. I don't listen to radio, so it doesn't really matter to me. It sounded pretty decent. And I believe you can preset stations too. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. The battery charging indicator does come in handy. The light is red while the battery is charging, and it turns green once the battery is fully charged, which is nice. And another pro that I like, the anti-skip feature that most CD players have now, if not all, works really well. I have not had any issues with this player skipping on me at all, even while walking or speed walking. Everything is perfect. And the last pro is the listening experience. Last week, I was listening to an old CDR that I recorded in November of 2007 that I made. I had an iPod at the time. I was having some issues with my computer, so my computer was out of service for a few months until I could take it into Best Buy for them to fix it. But I burned the CD in iTunes back in November of 2007, and I had not listened to that mix CD in quite some time. So I decided to listen to it one evening while I was out on a walk, and it brought back a lot of memories to, what I was doing during that time, that particular time in my life, and things that I was working on, things that I was thinking about, and a lot of the music that I liked. And it sounded crystal clear. I believe it was MP4, which was iTunes quality, so I noticed a difference in the dynamic range. The sound quality was decent as far as dynamic range goes, and it was satisfying, and it brought back a lot of memories. So, the cons. The first con, when you turn the unit on, as I just did, the CD automatically starts playing. And with me being the listener, I like to press play with my music. Maybe there's a way to turn off that feature. That feature I'm not too fond of. And we have the backlight here. This is a pro as well as a con. I do like the backlight feature that it has. However, if it's at night, you're in bed, the room is dark, this backlight is pretty bright and it gives off a lot of light, which can be a little invasive, a little distracting, and it's not pleasant to look at night. I don't know if there's a way to turn it off or to adjust the brightness of it, like you'd have on an iPhone, for example. So that's a feature that I do not like. And even if you adjust the volume here, the light automatically comes on. The volume knob, it's nice, but I feel like I would have more control of the volume if it were an actual analog or a wheel that I could turn. With this, if I turn it up to a certain level, it's too loud, and if I go down one level, it isn't loud enough. Dealing with that sometimes has been something that I have not enjoyed about the CD player. But overall, it sounds good. I was expecting the battery life to be longer than it has been. I've only charged this unit twice so far in the week that I've had it, but out of the box, the battery was charged. I'm not sure if it was charged fully, but it had a decent amount of battery life still left on it, so that was nice. So I did not charge it until I think about around Friday or so. I noticed that I had one bar left. I did not let it run completely down. I decided to charge it because I didn't know how much longer the battery life would last. So I charged it that night fully, and I had to charge it yesterday, actually. It takes about 4 hours to charge, give or take. But I feel like the battery life should last a little longer. Maybe it's because I've been listening to this a lot lately. Maybe that's why the battery life seems so short. I was expecting the battery life to be longer. And if I had to choose between an internal battery that you can only charge for a finite number of times, or to have it run on just regular double A's, I think I would choose regular double A's. I know having to carry backup batteries can be somewhat of an inconvenience. My CD players that run on AA batteries are probably going to outlast this unit here. And yesterday, while I was listening to it, it completely died on me. I ran out of battery life in the middle of listening to a CD. I decided I was going to let the battery run all the way down until I charged it again. I just didn't know how much battery life I had left after having the one bar. It didn't last that long, but it wasn't short either. So as I mentioned, the EQs on this unit, they're pretty decent, but when you turn the unit off, as far as I know, you have to reset the EQs again. And that kind of interferes with the listening experience because while the music is playing, you're searching through the EQs trying to figure out which one sounds best. Whereas if it saved the EQ setting that you had, you could just leave that on at all times, and maybe it doesn't sound as good with other genres of music or other CDs, you can change it. I don't like having to reset the EQs each time I turn the player on. That's kind of an inconvenience for me. So would I recommend the KLIM Nomad or KLIM series CD players to someone who is looking for an affordable portable CD player? Absolutely. This player is affordable. It has many great features. I have not used the Bluetooth feature, but you do have that option too if you want. I believe there is some degradation in the sound if you're listening through Bluetooth. Growing up in the 90s, we did not have Bluetooth audio, so I'm accustomed to plugging in a cord to listen to a CD player, so I have no issues with that, but it does have that capability, and if that's what you're accustomed to, if you'd rather listen through Bluetooth, with the KLIM series CD players, you do have that. And I believe the Discovery offers a radio transmitter, so if you're listening to it in your car, you can tune in to a certain frequency and it picks up the audio from the CD that's playing. Remember those old microphones that we had as kids that had the radio transmitters in them? I had one as a kid. I think I had a couple. It kind of reminds me of that. And you also have the option of finding a nice used retro CD player that's in good condition from, say, the 90s or the early 2000s or the 2000s. I noticed that the price of them has gone up quite a bit. You can find those as well if you're not too keen on the newer product line that has the internal battery and one that you can only charge so many times, and then after that you have to invest money in another player. So I hope that this video helped for those of you who are interested in the KLIM series or KLIM Nomad portable CD player. It's a great player, and if you're into CDs, if you're getting into CDs, or if you're being reintroduced to CDs, this is a great player to start with. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, everyone. Happy listening.